Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Sherman Wealth Wisdom. We're here as always, Brad Sherman and Ashley Perlmutter. Ashley, good morning. How's it going?
It's going great. How's it going with you?
Good. Ashley is in new full lockdown mode, shooting at us with from Washington, D.C. in a new location for the next week or so. As we are seeing COVID cases spike and new lockdowns continue. And we've talked about this, but we want everyone to be safe and healthy. And we're thinking about everyone, especially on this Thanksgiving. Wanted to talk first about some charitable work that we've done and are doing around this time of year. So for everyone who wants to get involved, my family participates in something called Everything But the Turkey through the DC JCC, where we are raising money, food, and awareness for those that can't afford to have a proper Thanksgiving, as well as a charity called No Kid Hungry online that we've been giving to and supporting through this time of year. So wanted to reach out there. And of course, Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless, hyperlocal, for those as it's getting really, really cold. And we're thinking about those that don't have food or homes during this time. Also wanted to talk about yesterday's event, which would be the leadoff, which was our first ever keynote speech, which is pretty cool. But we had over 200 folks at a Jewish Federation of Greater Washington estate and financial planning seminar. What were your biggest takeaways, Ashley, from things that you might have learned from some of the other panelists or breakout speakers?
Yeah, well, one good thing I learned from your presentation was the importance of getting organized and utilizing a data aggregation system to put everything that you have, whether it's checking accounts, bills, credit cards, everything into one platform so you can see your overall net worth, what you owe, your assets versus your liabilities. It's really great and a good way to get organized and really stay on top of your finances and set those goals. So that was really great. Obviously, I'm still pretty young. Marcy's presentation was fabulous as well, talking about estate planning and getting prepared for your future. So it was great to learn, and I'll definitely utilize all the tips that she gave me in the next few years as I
Grow your estate.
Yeah, exactly.
Grow your state. Exactly. And the other, real important takeaway, and that we heard in kind of the breakout sessions, and it's always good as we're writing content and really shaping it and shooting content and doing all this for everyone, to hear what other people are saying to make sure that we're on the right track. And we did hear a lot about how do I maximize my savings given an emergency fund? And we've talked about this a lot, but the Capital One 360, Marcus, max my interest type of model of getting really paid at least 0.5 to 0.6%. I know it's not a ton of money, but it's about 30 times the national average, given that most banks are paying either 0 or 0.01% in this low interest rate environment. And then also just talking about some of these end of the year things that I know we've been writing about a lot, and the top end of the year tips, which we want to go over with you today, which are making sure that your HSA is funded if you're in a high deductible plan, looking into a Roth conversion. Of course, as we know, for those that are of age that would be beneficial for, most RMDs have been suppressed due to the CARES Act. So you might have a bucket of income that would have been filled by a required minimum distribution, and you might want to take advantage of lower tax rates to convert some of your rollover IRA into a Roth. We also, for the young folks, want to make sure that you're at least contributing to the company match in the 401k. If your company's been peeled back on the 401k due to, COVID hardships, at least, contribute what you can. And then if you aren't into the 401k there, open up a Roth or traditional IRA. Obviously you have until April 15th, 2021 to do that. And then one of the big things is that we heard from yesterday's seminar was, funding 529 accounts, which have a 12/31 deadline. So if you have a child or a grandchild rather, and you want to, put money towards their college, or as we talked about, potentially private school, K through 12 education, 529 plans are a great way to do so. So check out your local state for their deductions, and reach out to us if you have any questions, or your CPA or tax preparer, of course. So that was a great recap, I think, of yesterday. Was there anything else that you wanted to share that you might have felt of importance from yesterday?
Yeah, I think another big topic that came up in the breakout rooms was the importance of establishing credit, and that it's really never too late. I know we had a few conversations with some individuals, and you were reassuring them that no matter your age, it's never too late to start saving and building your credit, opening different lines of credit. So I think that was a really big takeaway, and something that everyone should keep in mind, especially during COVID-19. And obviously there's a lot of been economic hardships and turmoil for lots of families and individuals out there. So
Great point. Good. Well, we also have a brand new blog post that we think, we should talk about, which was, surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, since we have kind of this K-shaped recovery that we've been talking about, where very unfortunately we have, small business, especially on the verge of a potential second lockdown, feeling the pain of the winter. So we want to reiterate that we are available for some pro bono work for anyone who's been impacted, or if you are a small business restaurant owner or any other industry that is going to be facing a potential second lockdown. We want to first, obviously, say that we're here for you and happy to help in any way we can. But there is also, for the people that have kept their jobs and had consistent income throughout the year, we're really seeing a divergence there. And then also their balance sheets really being more secure, whether it's through refinancing their mortgages, whether it's through an increase in their 401k or other investments that they're doing. But we're seeing a lot of cash on the balance sheets of American families, as you mentioned earlier, maybe because of extra emergency savings because of COVID-19. That was just very interesting data. What to do with the money now that it's there, given a low interest rate environment and given where we are in the economy. So anything else that you wanted to share about that blog? It was a really interesting article and blog post.
No, I think you hit all the major points. I know another thing we wanted to touch on today was an event we're participating in on Saturday, the Stock Twits poker event. If you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, sure. So we connected with Troy from Wall Street Bound about a year ago, which is a fantastic organization that provides financial literacy, education, trading opportunities, teaching inner city youth, mostly Black and brown youth, about the stock market, how to leverage all of the things that we've really been talking about for a while now, how to leverage credit and really trade and mostly the stock market. A little bit of personal finance stuff. They're having their first annual charity poker tournament. I used to love poker and play a lot, and we're really looking forward. We're both signed up for that. Ashley's going to make her debut on Saturday at 2 p.m. And there's been on Twitter some interesting chatter about some of the big finance folks putting bounties on other folks, which means that if you knock them out, they're either willing to give you money or donate money to the charity of your choice, and of course match it to Wall Street Bound. So it's going to be a great event on Saturday. And we wrote another blog post that's very interesting, I think, as it relates to the biases that we all have. Mm-hmm. We see markets falling back a little bit today from all-time highs, but we reached brand new all-time highs 2 days ago on Tuesday. We've had a record kind of run, a historic run from election night, which was 2.5 weeks ago. Believe it or not, it feels like 8 years ago, but it was only 2.5 weeks ago. So want to talk about the biases there, mostly around COVID, mostly around the election, but we posted a great blog about some folks that said, I'll never invest until the COVID headlines dissipate. And here we are with COVID headlines stronger than ever. And the market's, stronger than it was in March, maybe through that other blog we were talking about, because personal balance sheets are a lot more prepared. Corporate balance sheets might be a little bit more prepared given the interest rate environment. What did you learn as a new kind of graduate, as we've talked about, from, reading that article and learning about biases even more?
I guess just realizing that they're there. It's often times really easy to get caught up in the news and get caught up with what the Dow's looking like and all the different changes. And so I guess what I learned was like stick with your long-term plan and just don't be rash. We talked about a few months ago all the TikTok investors and everybody investing in maybe like Tesla and stuff like that. And so try to not get caught up in things like that and really stick to a plan and don't get nervous. Just like wait it out, because at the end of the day, it'll always recover and get back to where it is.
So, of course, in the short term, it's impossible to predict. No one would have told you pre-election that we'd be at all-time highs and flirting with Dow 30,000, given the current state of the environment and also, of course, the current state of the virus. So there is always a little bit of a disconnect between the stock market and the true economy. And as Ashley said, over the long term, these things will recover. Sometimes they take 18 months, sometimes they take up to 3 years, is what the data shows. So never know when it's going to come back, but always need to stick with the plan, talking about dollar cost averaging, talking about trying to hit consistent singles and not going for the home runs. You brought up TikTok and day trading and the tax implications there. So remember that the after-tax return is really, really important, which is why we're talking about IRAs, 401ks, HSAs, 529 plans. Filling those tax-efficient buckets up first is really important. So
Great.
We want everybody to have a really safe weekend as the cases are spiking and people are becoming more and more nervous, of course, that we're going to go into the winter. Maybe a little bit more prepared than March, but still crazy that 8 months have passed and we are spiking and going back up. So safety and health, especially as we are approaching Thanksgiving with gratitude, and we might not all be with our families this year. So for those that are alone, we're thinking of you, and much love. And Ash, take us out.
Yeah, we're wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving if we were not able to record next Thursday. So everybody enjoy with your loved ones and hop on a Zoom and tell everyone you love them and everything that we're thankful for. So we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Have a great day.